fact checking. So at any point, if somebody makes a claim, the other can say, can we fact check this? I can jump in and say, fact check this. Even the folks in the back can say, fact check this. So it is a very fair conversation that we're having here. And so with that being said, kudos to Michael Knowles. Your name was mentioned a lot. You missed out right now. The last 10 minutes, we talked about you. There's a lot of love and respect here mutually from both parties, all three of them here. And then, of course, the great Joe Rogan that started this conversation. And he also volunteered, but it ended up being this format that we have here today. So with that being said, Andrew, your claim is overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. Opening statements, opening comments.
Sure. And what I mean by overwhelming is I just find it very convincing. I think that's what most people mean when they say overwhelming evidence. So I have a brief opening statement. On September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was murdered. Many of you already know a lot about the events which occurred after Kirk's death. You remember the ghoulish laughter, celebrations, and madness we saw from leftists all over, from TikTok invasions, debates, posts on social media, destruction of memorials, and things like this. Within weeks of Kirk's death, a cottage industry began to form, peddling various alternative theories on how he died. What special interest may have killed him, what nations were involved, and was our own government one of them? Because this was the first nationwide traumatic event in Gen Z's lifetime, the demand for answers was severe and palpable. The leading theory from the conspiracy verse is that Israel worked with the United States government to murder Charlie Kirk. Within a day or two of Kirk's death, Ian Carroll claimed that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. And the conspiracy caught on like wildfire. This theory was built on one misleading piece of evidence. That in his final days, on or around September 8th, Charlie sent a text message reading, "Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause." This was sent in the context of a platforming dispute regarding Tucker Carlson. From this scintilla of misleading information, it was speculated that Israel killed Charlie Kirk because he would have successfully opposed the Iranian war. Now, that's a fun theory, and who doesn't like a good, fun conspiracy theory? I like them. But there is no evidence that Israel actually killed Charlie Kirk. And if Candace has some, I'd like her to actually show it to me. I'm open to suggestions, but to date, there hasn't been any. There is, however, tons of evidence that a leftist killed Charlie Kirk, just as Charlie feared they would. I believe Charlie Kirk, and I have the receipts. No, I didn't have a dream where he came to me and told me that the left killed him. No, he didn't come to me a dream and say, Candace Owens betrayed him. That never happened. In fact, I don't need dreams of any kind because I hold in my possession never before seen messages from Charlie Kirk to his security team on September 9th, 2025. I'm going to share the message with you today, which is the first time this information's ever been publicly revealed. On September 9th, Charlie's security team wrote to him, yes, law enforcement has been fully supportive and agreed to a security plan and posture. Tomorrow's event will be covered by both my team and the campus PD. If additional support is required, patrol units will be available. I have 11 on site. Charlie responded with this, okay, great. Remind them that they are there for one person's security only, because I'm somewhat worried the left is trying to kill me.
And I like the fact that he lifts up his head to talk to look into Candace's face, so like he's hit a home run or he's dunked on her or something. Okay, this is the very part that I'm here to kind of touch. And it's very ironic how he read this text and is not willing to show the proof that this is an actual text. You know, he mentioned all along how there's overwhelming evidence, and which you can say as loud as you can, but that does not make it overwhelming. He says there's overwhelming evidence, there's overwhelming evidence, there's overwhelming evidence. Okay, no problem. Okay, so now this is the case right now we have. This is the problem we have. He is suggesting that Charlie knew that the left was trying to kill him. Fair point. And he has text messages from Charlie's phone, like he had mentioned, or from Charlie's security, whichever way he got it from. That's no problem. But clearly, if he got it from the security team, then it means it's on Charlie's phone, because it's a back and forth communication. This is where I want you guys to really pay attention to, because the issue is there is overwhelming evidence that the guy who is in custody, Tyler Robinson, is the one who killed him. Okay, granted. So he's gonna prove it. But he said the left, and from the little investigation that has gone on about the guy's background, that's Tyler Robinson, we'll call him TR for short. About TR's background is he wasn't a leftist. You see? And even the Twigs guy that they are even also kind of saying that was the transgender person didn't seem to identify as a leftist. But the opposite is rather more probable, because apparently the parents are Trump supporters, or if I heard it right, they were registered Republicans. So this is where the people ask why the inconsistency. At what point did the guy become a leftist? You say, okay, through indoctrination and all that stuff, but there's no record saying he registered as a leftist or any of that sort. Wasn't involved in any leftist organization or anything. So it's just curious why these people are not curious to understand, okay, even if it's the left that did it, he couldn't have acted alone. Because there are so many reasons that suggest otherwise. So many things that suggest otherwise. We talk about the gun that he used. We said overwhelming evidence. He never mentioned about a gun that the testimony given claims was not really shot, because he had dust in there. Even besides that point, he never mentioned about the fact that the photos were not clear enough to really show, or there's no video evidence of the guy taking the shot or even being on top of the roof. And it's very interesting how they keep leading with this fact. Oh, we have 4K evidence, but 4K then means you pretty get a good shot, but then the pictures or the evidence presented in court said the opposite. These were blurry images that were enhanced to some extent. So how do you end up with a conclusion that there's an overwhelming evidence? What these guys are failing to understand is these charges carry the death sentence, and it's very important to understand that if you make a mistake with a judgment, you have killed an innocent man. And what most people are failing to understand is once somebody is killed, the case is gonna go cold, and the real perpetrators or perpetrator of the evil is gonna go scot-free. So that's why it's important to get it right the first time. That is my position. Get it right the first time. If it means stretching out the case or delaying this case for however long, make sure you get it right. Because if you kill an innocent man, you can't bring him back to life again. We have seen this in many instances in the court. Different nations, even here in the United States. So, if you claim the evidence is overwhelming, you gotta be damn sure that is beyond probable doubt that he did it. So let's get back to the text messages. Let's hear what Erica Kirk, in her own words, said to Glenn Beck, since this man wants us to believe that he got it from the source.
I look back now and I'm thinking, in some way, we operate like the Lord puts it in us to operate the way we operate without even knowing, because He knows what our mission is here. And so the Lord put in Charlie such a